Matt Lenihan Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store. Always a pleasure. Sam Jones. Sam, cheers for jumping on. Look, a fair bit to get through, but I think we're probably best off starting at the weekend. Jaron Boots Ennis picked up a victory in a tough fight. I mean, I don't think people are talking about it as one of his standout performances, but obviously Bam as well, sensational knockout victory.
Yeah.
Looked an immaculate performance. What's your sort of takeaway from the performances from what you've seen?
I didn't watch the full fight with Jaron Ennis, but I watched all the zone round by round highlights. And starting with him, he looked as though he was getting hit a lot more than what he would normally get hit. He kept getting hit with the same left hook. Um, Look, Jaron Ennis is widely regarded as one of the best in the world in one of the best in the world right now, right? But he's obviously he can be forgiven that he would look at that fight. 'Cause I know he boxed him last time, and it's
Mhm.
probably a hard fight to get up for. It's a hard fight because when the weight cuts start to get hard, right? And I think any boxer would tell you the same thing. I'm not speaking as if I am one before I get all the the whirlwind of shit, but like they will tell you that it's like it gets harder to do a wake up for like not a run out because very disrespectful. Not that would be disrespectful, but like an opponent where he didn't really want to face because he wants to fight the elite level. And I
Yeah.
think that, long story short, I believe he's getting very tight at the weight, and I think his days at 147 are numbered. And he can be forgiven for that performance because I think the better opponent, I think the better you'll
Yeah.
see of Jaron Ennis. I think a fight like Virgil Ortiz, it's the
Mm.
perfect fight for him.
Yeah, I've seen Eddie tout that fight. Believe discussions may be underway for that. Who do you favour in that fight? Obviously, Virgil campaigned at that weight previously,
It's a
but
very
it's a great fight.
it's a 50-50 fight. It's a 50-50. If you look at his last performance, Boots, you've got to give Virgil Ortiz a great shout of winning the fight. But I just have this feeling that Jaron Ennis will have that another gear,
Mhm.
especially in 154. So I would just edge towards Boots Ennis in that fight. But I wouldn't be
Uh,
shocked because I'm a big Virgil Ortiz fan. So I wouldn't be shocked if Virgil Ortiz won that fight.
Someone whose superstar stardom seems to be growing, Bam Rodriguez. Every
Yeah.
time he performs, just brilliant to watch. Still so young as well. It's amazing to think what he's achieved at such a young age. How impressive is this kid? I suppose you can't even call him a kid now, but he's achieved well beyond his years, you'd say, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I watched that whole fight with Bam Rodriguez. He is going to be eventually pound for pound in that pound for pound number one argument. Not yet, but he's heading in that direction because he's phenomenal. He's 24 years old, 24 years of age, and he's just absolutely brilliant, Bam Rodriguez. And I like what kind of person he is as well. Um,
Humble, very humble kid.
yeah, so yeah. I can't speak any more highly of Bam. I think he's a fantastic fighter.
Just a little sidebar, moving on to the social media stuff. One thing that did make me laugh over the weekend, I think it was Billy Nelson's tweet saying Martin Bakole would be ready to fight um, Daniel Dubois, and you quote tweeted it with, "Oh, well, that's like me giving my availability to is it Margot Robbie off Wolf of Wall Street?"
No, what it was, IFL posted saying Ben Shalom had said
Oh, Ben, yeah,
Bacole's available
available.
to fight Daniel Dubois, and I was trying to put it into some context that if he's available, that's like me saying I'm available for Marco Robbie. But look, and I'm not bashing Bakole by the way, because I think Bakole will cause problems to any, and I will highlight he will cause problems to any heavyweight in the world, and he has a chance of beating any heavyweight in the world. But unfortunately, we're still in this. They're still in that position of nobody's fighting Bakole. Nobody, unless they absolutely have to, or the money is phenomenal. No chance because he's all risk, no reward. But I hope he does get a chance soon because I know. Listen, Billy, as much as me and Billy, like we've given each other a load of stick. I admire the way he's pushed his man, and also look, he got the opportunity to fight on those Riyadh season cards, and Bakole's arguably looked the best on those cards. I mean, Daniel Dubois, you've got to give him the props of being the best of what it's done for career wise, but it's also given Bakole a lease of life as well. But no, yeah, that was
What's
just a bit of a humorous tweet.
what's the situation between Bakole and Caballel? Because I thought the IBF calls
Purse
for
bids on Thursday, isn't it? The purse bids are on
yeah.
Thursday.
So
Yeah,
do you not see great fight?
it's a great fight. Stylistically, I'm not saying Caballero will win the fight because I think Bakole will win the fight, but it's that Hunter style it's that Hunter style. So it'd be interesting to see if Bakole can make the adjustments if it goes a few rounds and Caballero is a bit more slippery. He's more slippery. He's not that type of fighter that's going to stand in front of Martin Bakole like the
Mm.
others had been previously. But look, the form Bakole's in, you back him against most of the heavyweights right now. And listen, good luck to him.
Absolutely. Obviously, the much talked about event that's coming up between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. The Taylor Serrano thing sort of gone under the radar a little bit just because of the media and, in a way, I suppose, rightly so. But let's give this fight a little bit of a shine because it deserves it after the first one. Taylor Serrano, just give me your thoughts on that now, just where they
Yeah,
both are in their careers.
yeah, I'll be staying up to. I'm not sure what time that fight's gonna come on, but I'll stay up and watch that. I thoroughly enjoyed the first one. It was an amazing fight between Taylor and Serrano, and yeah, I'll watch it. And look, the Mike Tyson fight. Everyone can say, "Oh, yeah, it's when it's wrong," which it is. I don't agree with this. I think it's bang out of order, to be honest with you. He's a 60-year-old man. It shouldn't be happening. But the bottom line is, we're all hypocrites if we say we're not gonna watch it or be intrigued to see what happens because the we will be thinking inside ourselves, right? The boxing fans, right, will be thinking, come on, Mike, have you got one or two rounds left in you? Have you got
Yeah,
one left? Have you got one good round left in the tank? But the reality is Mike Tyson was finished 20, 30 years ago against, I can't remember what he
Kevin
got Kevin
McBride.
McBride. He retired, didn't he, on his stool, and he was finished then. So Jake Paul has been, yes, he's not very good, but he can punch a little bit, and he's been training. Do you know what I mean? He's been training. So it's it's interesting. It's interesting to see what's going to happen. But if Mike Tyson did win, then you would get the geezers in the gym saying, "Right, he's ready for AJ. We'll knock AJ out. He'll knock Fury out." Like Mike Tyson, like you I don't know. I don't know. But if Jake Paul wins, like, does it do anything for Jake Paul? I don't think
No.
so at all, because it's just you've essentially beaten a very faded old man, with the greatest respect, old man. I said it the other day, right? Um, I would, if Jake Paul insists on fighting like fighters that aren't either way past their prime, like Mike Tyson or these MMA guys, fight a rematch with Tommy Fury or Darren Till, who's took a great liking to me. It's a great fight.
Yeah, just picking this back up with Sam Jones, you were talking about Jake Paul and obviously fighting the likes of a Darren Till. No one would begrudge him that. Obviously, MMA athlete. He's an absolute
Yeah,
unit as well. One of your good mates, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. He's took a great liking to me, Darren. But I think no, I just think the build. I think the build up would be good. It'd be like a bit of a spiteful build up, and like,
Mm.
and it's a fair fight. Do you know what I mean? He's picking on people that are either like, listen, I've got time for Jake Paul because I think he's a genius of a businessman. He does things unbelievable, but I just think pick on somebody your own size.
Yeah. Look, let's see what happens. We're all going to watch it, no
Yeah,
matter what happens. Couple more bits I want to ask you. Obviously, the news regarding Olympic medalist Imane Khalif and the
yeah,
leaked reports, I have to say, that have come out across social media. Now, we have to say, before I obviously ask you this can open such a can of worms in terms of the validity of this report. Is there any truth to it? If there isn't, because obviously with everything that surrounded that Olympics, with the doubt that was cast, and in her mind, unfair doubt, and she's been boxing a very long time, and says, "Look, biological woman, etc." But now this leaked report has come out. It sort of reopens this chapter, doesn't it? And I assume there'll be a lot of legal cases flying around.
Yeah, look, it's obviously a sensitive subject, but it's like there's two sides, isn't there? If it turns out he's a man, um,
Mhm.
then what on earth has happened for these last years, especially in the Olympics, when it's like an assault on women? It's like it's a serious case, and like you've rewarded him by giving him a medal in the Olympics. But if she's not, and she's a woman, then yeah, then there's a lot of people gonna be owing her an apology, because I read it's obviously an uncomfortable thing to read, but that it was like, oh, she was born with a micro penis or whatever. Like it
I
doesn't.
read it online on
Yeah, but
Twitter.
it's like it doesn't matter whether it's a micro penis or a German Frankfurter man. It's like we need to establish, is this person a man or a woman? It's a touchy, it's obviously a touchy subject, but it needs getting to the bottom of, because if she turns pro, um, what then? Smaller
Yeah,
gloves on. So look, I'll leave it there because I don't want to get
yeah,
myself into trouble. But if it does turn out that the original report's correct, and she's a female, then she's going to be owed a lot of apologies. But if not, then what then? There's going to be women pressing charges against him. So listen,
yeah,
let's move forward.
yeah. Well put. Um, Jack Catterall. Let's talk about
Yeah,
what's next for him. Obviously, we see Liam Parra and Richardson Hitchens come together.
yeah,
Um, the natural thing would be for Jack to fight the winner of them two. I know T.O. has been spoke about, and look, Jack's a household name now. He's a headliner, the first as well to headline at
go on, Jack.
The
Go
new
on,
co-op
Jack. Your
arena.
household name.
I'm doing your job for you here, mate. But yeah, talk me through what's next for Jack Catterall. What would you like to see happen?
Well, look, Jack's in a very good position, a very, very good position that he's worked incredibly hard to get himself into. There's the Paro Hitchens fight, where I believe that we have a great chance of challenging the winner of that fight. Uh, and then if you look at what's happening this weekend, there's the Barboza Ramirez fight, which is very interesting because Jack sits at number 2, but Ramirez, I think, is number 4 or 6. If Ramirez wins, Jack's got a very good case of being elevated to number 1, because Barboza, who's a nice man, by the way, Barboza, very nice man. But let's be honest, he lost against Sean McComb.
Yeah,
There's the elephant in the room there. He lost to Sean McComb, and he got gifted a decision. So if Ramirez beats him, does he really deserve to leapfrog Jack? No chance. So the fair thing would be to put Jack as number 1, and he fights Lopez. But I don't believe Lopez is going to fight Jack or Ramirez or Barboza. I think Ramirez is going up, and I think the WBR, I believe, will do the right thing. And I believe the winner of Barboza Ramirez will be number. If Ramirez wins, I believe maybe you go to number 2, Jack to number 1, and then Jack would fight Ramirez for the vacant belt, or Jack could fight Barboza for the vacant belt.
hmm
But look, Jack would love to fight Teofimo Lopez, but I just don't think it's going to happen. He's there. I know he's got a legal case right now with Top Rank, and he wants to fight Terence Crawford. He's calling him out with these names. So he's not going to go from wanting to fight Terence Crawford to fighting Jack with a style that's going to cause him all kinds of problems. So I doubt it. So yeah, they're the realistic angles we're looking for. But Jack's got to be challenging for world honors. And if it's part of the 5v5 with Golden Boy Matchroom, then amazing. That'll be fantastic for Jack.
You've got a lot of good things on the horizon. The signing of Pat Brown.
Yeah,
Want to touch on him, and obviously you've got the likes
yeah,
of Cameron Vong out soon. Big end to the
yeah,
year against
yeah.
Gavin Gwynn, which is a tremendous step up, but one that obviously Jamie Nigel yourself believe is the right move to make at this time. Let's just start with Pat. Touted as it's one of the Team GB's sort of elite. A lot of people were after him. You're
Yeah.
working with him. How pleased are you to secure his signature and to be working alongside him?
Look, Matt, I'm very fortunate and blessed to be working with, I believe, the best stable in Great Britain. I really do. I really do believe that. I believe I've got the best stable in Great Britain, with definitely with fighters coming through. Dan Toward fighting next weekend in Newcastle, his first fight in Newcastle. Hamza Adin, Cameron, Mark Dickinson, Pat Brown, Connor Tudsbury. I've got so many great talents, and I just believe, like right now, this is the golden era for me, for the fighters I have. But with Pat Brown, yeah, mate, listen, ecstatic to sign Pat. It kind of happened organically. I know every manager and his dog was after Pat, every promoter's after Pat. So look, I can't be doing too bad a job for the fighters I represent and what I have to offer. Because listen, I'll work extremely hard for them.
Alfie Middlemiss as well. You believe you've got involvement with that
Alfie
young man?
Middlemiss. Yeah, Jamie, myself and Jamie will be looking after Alfie. Unbelievably lovely kid. What a lovely kid. And he can really fight as well. He can really fight. Do you know who reminds me of? Jamie Moore.
What, really?
He's
Wow.
just like Jamie Moore. He's just like Jamie Moore. Honestly, his style, he's just like Jamie Moore. He's an actor as well, Alfie.
And wasn't he on Emmerdale or something like that? I
He's
read.
on Waterloo Road. Do you know the new Waterloo Road? He's on
Yes.
that. He's got a big part in that. He's a really talented kid, not just fighting, but he's an actor. His dad played Des Barnes in Coronation Street. So he's so it's an interesting story with Alfie. He's gonna sell a lot of tickets. So yeah, big shout out to Alfie Middlemiss, one of the nicest kids you'll ever meet.
Yeah, debut December 6th in Liverpool Exhibition Centre, People's
You
Fighters.
talk
So,
Alfie in your debut on December 6th. Come on.
last one from me. Keyshawn Davies put on a hell of a performance against a
Brilliant.
guy who was 6 or 7 pounds over. He'd be forgiven for saying, "No, this is not fight's not happening." He took him on. Lemos is dangerous, whatever happens. And look,
Yeah.
it might have helped his credibility. The fact he took him on a bit heavier and beat him as well, kind of that way he
Yeah.
did. So talk me through it.
Do you know what I liked as well? The entrance. I thought his entrance was
Ah,
absolutely outstanding. And that's what, do you know when you looked at Keyshawn Davies that night, right?
star.
You look at him and you think, superstar. Superstar. And I know that it will probably irritate Eddie because he's got Andy Cruz. But when you look at Keyshawn there, you look and just think, you're it, sunshine. You're it. I was so impressed. I loved his entrance, and to top it off with a performance like that, everybody, whether they like to admit it or not, is looking over the shoulder and thinking this boy's coming. So brilliant performance from Keyshawn. I'm a big fan. I was a big fan anyway, but I'm a bigger
Yeah,
fan now because I love a good entrance and a good performance on the top of
yeah.
it. I thought he had the whole package. I thought the atmosphere was brilliant. I thought his performance was brilliant. Big
I,
shout out, Keyshawn Davies.
I have to say I've seen both him and your man perform, and them two, the rivals, him and Andy Cruz. That fight would be special.
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, that's a fight that's I'm sure is bound to happen because I know, look, Andy Cruz has beaten Keyshawn a few times in the amateurs, and I know
Yeah,
Keyshawn will be thinking that his profile's bigger and like but there'll be an itch. There'll be an itch he'll want to scratch there, Keyshawn. For listen, fighters have big pride, don't they? So I'm sure he'll want to get that itch scratched sooner rather than later.
yeah, absolutely, a terrific fight to make. Sam, we've covered a hell of a lot of stuff there. We will catch up soon because there's always fights around the corner and plenty of your fighters staying active and big news
Yeah,
coming ahead.
got a very big end to the year. Fight news for Sami Hamed early part of next year. Adam
Mm,
Hamed. Yeah, we've got Dan Toward next week. We've got the week after that. We've got Mark Dickinson in his comeback in a comeback fight. We've got Cameron Vaughn, got Connor Walker, Hamza Udin, and then we've got the run for ball
yes.
Johnny Fisher to top the year off. I actually saw Dave Allen today. Dave's looking good, he's looking in good shape. It's going to be a good fight between those two. So yeah, bosh.
Sam, appreciate it. We'll catch up.